you for joining me again with Breaking the Silence Together podcast. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Jeannie Perez, and I am the founder of an organization called You Are Not Alone. And what the organization is about is we support mental illness and addiction. And the way that we support them is we provide free services, whether it's professional services from a therapist, a counselor, an advocate. We also provide tools and resources. We will meet the individual, whether it's with a mental illness or an addiction, wherever they are in their journey. And we will follow them through even after they've healed, healthy, or recovered healthy. We still continue to be in their lives. And just to make sure that everything is going okay, so we don't just step in and out of their lives when they're done. We continue to stay, we just all become as one family and continue to heal together in a healthy way. And all of our services are free. The podcast that you're listening to today, or whenever you do hear me, it ties in with the organization. And the reason why we decided to bring a podcast on to the organization was just in case, maybe someone doesn't really relate on social media too much, or they don't really like social media, but they listen to the radio. We're on the radio, on FM, we're on iHeart, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon. So I'm trying to hit everywhere that I'm thinking that maybe someone would really listen, or maybe that's where they go. Maybe they go shopping, which is Amazon. So I made sure that our podcast is on Amazon. Maybe they're radio listeners, so we make sure that we're on FM radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just trying to get our resources out there every way, which way that we can, just so that anyone that needs the help or is looking for help for someone that they know, that hopefully they'll come across our stuff. With that being said, today's talk is going to be, I believe, that today's share, because basically this podcast, every time I share something, it's either something that I'm going through with a client, and of course with their permission I'm sharing it today, or it's someone else that brought this information to me and wanted me to share it on my podcast. And today's topic is when your body keeps the score. The hidden physical toll of the emotional pain. The reason why I thought that title, the way we put it together, was because that's really what it is. It's like, even though you feel as though you're healing already, your brain is already processing the healing part of it, your body is still not processed and not where you're at already mentally. And I'm going to try to go a little deeper in, because I know some people might not be able to understand or wrap their head around. They're like, okay, well, my brain is healing, but you're saying that my body isn't. And what I mean by that, and this is backed up by science, because actually the person that brought this to my attention, her mom is a PhD not in college, a PhD, actually a family doctor. It deals with stuff like this, pain and trauma to the body. And when I was doing my research with her and talking with her about this, a lot of us think that just because we process the trauma or the grief that we were going through, yes, our mind is processing it with us because we're feeding all this new stuff into our mind. And remember, we can always reset our minds. But we have to also realize that we have to also reset our bodies, because the trauma pain within our body is real. Our brain stores the trauma that we feed into it. It leaks out, like I always say, the way I always try to make it make sense so it'll be a little easier for other people to really understand it. They don't know too much of medical terms, or just making it simple for everybody to really understand. When you feed so much into your brain, it's like a sponge. So when it overflows into your system. It overflows into your nervous system. It overflows into your joints. It overflows into your bones. It overflows into your stomach, your gut, your head. Sometimes that's why, a lot of people get migraines, you get fatigue. So everything flows through your body. It doesn't just stay in your brain or just your nervous system. And remember, your nervous system controls your whole body. We have nerves running throughout our whole body, just like we have blood cells and everything. But our nerves, we have it running through our whole body also. So when it runs through our nervous system and it's flowing through our bodies, it attacks our gut. It attacks our back. It attacks our bones. And that's where the pain and different illnesses, that I call illnesses because we start feeling sick, come in place. You might have a day where you just don't want to get out of bed, or you do get out of bed, but your body is so tired, or you have stomach pain. You've been dealing with this stomach pain for a couple of days. You're feeling sluggish. Your eating is not the same sometimes. And sometimes you just have this headache you can't get rid of. And those are the kind of body chronic pain traumas that I call, somatic traumas that, they affect our bodies. They affect our everyday movement. And some of us, don't understand that you don't just have to process it through your brain or your nervous system. You have to also process it through other organs of your body because it affects your body completely. Some of us get lucky and we don't go through all this chronic pain or body pain or differences with our organs besides just our nervous system sometimes. But the under emotional threat, because what it really affects us in the somatic trauma, what really affects us is emotional trauma. When we're dealing with emotional trauma, that's the deepest trauma, and that's really the trauma that really affects us in a somatic way. And when you're dealing with emotional trauma, your nervous system leaks out to your other organs, and the trauma stays stuck. Maybe for some people it might just stay stuck in their stomach. So they start having gut issues. We start having IBS. We start having gut issues. Some of us I have where we just feel so sluggish and fatigued. We might even start retaining fluids. And some of us might just have and this is something that I see a lot, is the tension in the face, the jaw, and the neck, and the back part of your neck. A lot of people, the somatic trauma that they get is in the jaw. Some of us grind our teeth a lot. Some of us, our jaw locks on us while we're sleeping, so we wake up with our jaw in pain. Some of us get a stiff neck a lot, so we think that we just might be sleeping on our pillow wrong, but it's actually the somatic trauma in your neck. Some of us will get it back here in a hump behind your neck, and it makes you feel stiff. All these are areas of our body that trauma just stores and just stays stuck. And a lot of our responses when we feel like this is like, oh, I just don't feel good today, or, we just brush it off. Oh, I'm okay, my headache will go away. This muscle tighten, it'll be fine, I'll be fine. It's something it always happens to me, but I feel better in a couple of days. But the truth is that we really have to start listening to our bodies. And we have to start realizing, is this something that really has been happening with me? Is it the norm with me? Or is this something that's been happening since I've been trying to heal from this trauma? Even though my brain is resetting with me, I'm seeing life in a different way. But now it's all these other things within my body that's really affecting me. So we have to really like I always say, come in tune with ourselves and really figure out, and not just brush it off, and figure out where all this chronic pain is coming from. Is it something that you really go through this all the time, or is this just starting to happen now? And the reason why I say that it's important that we really come in tune with ourselves and we try to figure stuff out, because we have to try to stay healthy within our bodies also. You know, I know we're trying to focus on our brain and our nervous system because we're healing either from, you know, a mental illness, or we're in a recovery right now, so we're just trying to stay focused. But the truth is, the somatic trauma is real. And that is something that also triggers within our body when we're trying to heal and recover, because it's part of your healing. You know, you have to heal your mind. You're resetting your brain. You're resetting your nervous system. And at the same time that you're resetting your brain and your nervous system, also after that nervous system comes, you know, the somatic part of it, which might be your neck, your stomach, your joints. Whatever you're feeling within you, in your body, while you're going through this healing process or this recovery process, you need to also really figure out and also recover that. You know, you also have to reset that part of your body. Don't ignore it, because it's all part of your healing. If you're not in the healing process or the recovery process, but you're going through all these chronic pains, it's because you're stuck. These emotions, this trauma, this emotional trauma is stuck. It's not just stuck in your brain that's leaking out to your nervous system. Now your nervous system is just flowing out to your body, and it's affecting your joints or your stomach or whatever it is within you that it's affecting. It all has to be part of what you're dealing emotionally, the trauma that you have stored in within you. And it's very important that you do not ignore that, and really get the help that you need, because you can get really sick from somatic trauma. I mean, emotional trauma is real, you know, and it really affects us, you know, and it can make us feel really sick at times. And it's just really important that we really, really listen to our bodies. You know, we take a pause and we listen to our bodies, and we realize what's regular and what do we regular go through, and what's not regular to us, you know, not norm to us. And really just reach out, you know, see your doctor. If it's a doctor, you know, whoever's your family doctor has been dealing with you. Let them know these different pains, these chronic pains that you're having, and get help for them. You know, check yourself out, because emotional trauma can really do damage to us within our bodies if we don't take care of ourselves in time. Emotional trauma is real, and it's very, very draining to the body. So it's really important that we listen to our bodies and we get the help that we need. It's never too late. Like I always say, it's never too late to get help. But it's so important when it comes to your body and your organs and your well-being within your body, to really stay on top of that. And, you know, reach out to your family doctor, or reach out to a doctor, anyone, and start getting the care that you need for your well-being. And at the same time, get the care that you need, that you can start healing healthy, or start recovering in a healthy way. And the reason why I brought this up, because like I said, every time I talk about something, it's because either someone brought it to my attention and they wanted me to share it. And this was actually brought up to me from, I've never really met the person that went through this, but the doctor that I was talking to, the person I was talking to, she's a medical doctor that deals with chronic pain. And her daughter is in my community. So her mom sent me some stuff, and she was just telling me how the emotional trauma, the somatic trauma, really affects a lot of her patients that come to her with these chronic pains because she's out of pain management. They come to her for pain management are dealing with really, really severe, deep emotional trauma. And she just thought it was really, really something good for me to share on my podcast, because there's tons and tons of people that are on pain management right now. And, you know, if you're listening to me and this is something that you're dealing with on a daily basis, I know it's real. That pain is real, what your body's going through. You know, and you might be taking care of the chronic pain by going into pain management or whatever you're doing. And that's good. You got to start on something that's going to help you. But at the same time, sometimes it's also healing that we need either from a mental illness, or sometimes it's healing that we need from a addiction. And if that is something that you're dealing with, please reach out and get help for yourself so that you can start healing from either your mental illness or your addiction, and also get help for the chronic pain that the emotional trauma has brought onto you on a daily basis. And I know it's real. And I know that some people can't even move out of their bed in the morning with this chronic pain that they have from the emotional trauma. Because somatic trauma is really strong. It really is. And it's so important, like she was telling me, you know, we need to start doing our own body scanning sometimes. You know, and what I mean by that is, you know, sometimes you just need to really close your eyes and pause with yourself and just try to scan your body. You know, just talk to yourself, fill your body out, you know, get in tune with yourself, and just try to figure out what is it that you need, what is it that's going on with your body that you feel like this. You know, is it some kind of pain management? Then go get it. You know, if it's healing that you need from a mental illness, you just need to go get help, get it. If it's recovery, go get it. You know, but we just really have to scan our bodies ourselves, talk to ourselves, and come in tune with ourselves and figure out what we need to do to help ourselves to be able to get out of this chronic pain that's real. It's real. You know, some people can't function because of it. And that's sad, but it's real. They just cannot function. And it's just so important that they get the help that they need, because everyone deserves to live functional every day without depending on something, because the pain is so bad they can't even get out of bed, you know. And then it ties into emotional trauma, which makes the pain even worse for a lot of us. But there is ways that we can help ourselves on a daily basis. You know, we can try to do the body scanning like I just said. Meditation helps out sometimes in the morning, sometimes it helps out at night, you know. Just take a few minutes of the day for yourself and try to meditate and take yourself somewhere where you feel comfortable and safe. You know, there's tons and tons of apps out there with some nice calming sounds. You know, you might need to do that every day or a couple of days a week. Take some time out to yourself just to let yourself go with some calming sounds. Exercise helps out. Yoga helps out. Walking helps out. You know, sometimes we just have to really incorporate some of these things into our lives. Even if you can't do this every day, try to do it at least once or twice a week. You know, sometimes, you know, you can't move out of your bed because your pain is that strong. Try to do something in bed. You can do meditation in bed. You know, we can do the bands in the bed. We can do little weights in the bed. You know, it's just you trying to move yourself around a little bit. And the meditation is just calming you, giving you some clarity to see if that helps you out a little bit. But remember, like I say all the time, we can't brush these kind of things away. You know, we can't brush them, we can't cover them up with a Band-Aid, because we might be able to help ourselves for a couple of minutes, maybe a day, but it's going to come back. Unless you get the proper help that you need, whether it's with a professional or talking to someone or going to your family doctor, pain management, or whatever it takes, unless we get some type of help, we're still going to be stuck with this chronic pain. We're still going to be stuck with this emotional trauma. We're still going to be in the somatic trauma with our body, with our organs, with our body within. And, you I know it's hard for some people to even wrap their head around these tools and resources that I try to share every day, because they've tried everything and nothing ever helps them. And they're just so fed up and so tired of everything. It's, well, that's not going to help me. Like, I've been doing so much all my life. But it's like I always say, don't give up on yourself. Keep trying. Keep trying different new things that you've never done before. Or try doing something that you have done, but just try it a little longer instead of giving up on it too fast. Because, nothing lasts forever. It really doesn't. Nothing is forever. We just have to really show up for ourselves and just try different things so that we can better ourselves, whether it's with pain, whether it's with our movements every day, whether it's with our trauma, our depression, our anxiety, our addiction, whatever it is that we're dealing with every day. We have to try to show up for ourselves and really try to figure out life. What is it that I want from life? What do I need to do to get rid of this pain? What can I do to get rid of this pain every day a little bit? Incorporate that into my daily activities every day, little by little. How can I get the help? Where can I get the help from? Like, these are kind of things that you need to talk to yourself about. Write them down if you have to. Say them out loud if you have to. But you need to put stuff in plan. You need to plan stuff out. You have to show up for yourself. You have to love yourself. You can't give up on yourself. And you can't give in. I know it's not that easy as I'm saying it, and I understand and I get it. But we can't give in to certain things that life throws at us. We have to really try to just dig ourselves out of it most of the time, because no one's coming to save us. And that's just the facts. No one's coming to save me. No one's coming to save you. We got to learn how to save ourselves. Come up for air. Come up for that piece of hope, that piece of puzzle that's going to put your puzzle together and help you out. We got to reach for that. We got to really figure this out ourselves. And then reach out for the help that we need, knowing what type of help we need. And if we don't know, we need to talk to someone to figure it out with us. But we definitely have to make the first step. It's sad to say that, some people just don't really care what you're going through. And they don't. Some people do. Like myself, I do care. And that's why I do what I do. Because I do care. I want people to live a healthy life. I don't want people to be brushed off. But unfortunately, it's more than anything. More of us have is people that don't really care. We're surrounded with it, And life is really messed up in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. And I get it because I've seen it. But it's like I always say, we don't need to depend on no one. We don't need anyone to love us. We don't need anyone to validate what's going on with us. We can figure this out on our own. And then reach out for the help, Because the help is not going to come to you. That's not. That's just the facts. I can't help you unless you tell me what you need me to help you with. And that's for anything. Unless you make the first step, no one's going to know what to do with you. No one's going to know how to help you. No one's going to know really what you want from them unless you speak up. And that's why I say you have to show up for yourself. You have to make this happen for yourself. I can put the pieces out there for you and tell you exactly what you need to do, get a plan put together for you. But unless you do the work, it's not going to happen. And that's what, a lot of us need to realize and be real with ourselves, that no matter how many people you have in your circle, no matter how big your support is, no one's going to live life for you. They're going to let you live life the best that you can, whichever way you want to live it. Whether you're hurting yourself or not. That's just the way. That's just reality. So, if you're depending on someone else to help you, or you're depending for someone else to tell you, yeah, it's time for you to get help, don't do that. Don't do that. Stand up for yourself. Love yourself. Validate your situation that you're in yourself. And get the help that you need. Because there's plenty of support out there for you. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's someone sitting next to you or someone in your circle that's willing to help you. But, it's like, if you don't want the help, no one's going to give it to you. So you got to say, I want the help. Here, I need help with this. I want to do this. I want to recover from this. I no longer want to get high. I no longer want to deal with this emotion, this pain. How can I recover from this? What are the steps? Where can I go to get the help? You have to make those moves. You have to make those moves for yourself. Like I said, I can be sitting here and talking for hours. But unless someone reaches out to me, or someone gets a hold of me, or gets a hold of my team member, or someone sends me, an alert about something, I'm not going to know what someone is suffering from. And I can't help with something I don't know. And that goes for me, for anybody else. You can't expect something from someone if they have nothing to return to you, because you haven't gave them anything. So, in little words, what I'm saying is, don't expect to get healthy with a mental illness. Don't expect to recover unless you reach out for the help. Because once you do that, once you take the first step, it's going to fall in place for you, because you're asking for it. You're doing your work on it. You're trying. You're showing up for yourself. Because, like I said, I can put a whole plan together for you, but what if the plan work if you're not going to do it? And the only way that anyone can get help is because they want to get the help, and they're going to do what they need to do to get the help. So please, if you're listening to my podcast, you're listening to me, or you follow me on social media, or you've been on my website 100 million times but you haven't reached out to us, please realize we cannot help you unless you tell us what you need help with. No one can help you unless you tell them what you need help with. Do it for yourself. You're worthy. It's never too early to get the help, and it's never too late. With that being said, I just want to say, it's a lot. It's a lot going on in this world with mental illness and addiction. And I'm sure a lot of people besides myself are aware of that. They have the paperwork to show it. They have the numbers in front of them to show it. But I think a lot of us, a lot of people out there just don't believe that it's real. They don't believe that the numbers are as high as people say. They don't really believe that this need is needed worldwide, or they don't think it's that serious. So they don't think it's worth their time. And I respect that. Everybody can think how they feel. They can think whatever they want to. They can live life the way they want to. I mean, that's part of life. That's freedom. That's America. You live and you do as you please. But, just like I'm free to say what I want, and I'm going to say that, yes, it's real. 200%. Mental illness is real, and addiction is real. Is it needed worldwide? It's needed worldwide and more. Are the numbers real? Not if you're looking at every minute, because every minute they're going to change, but they're not going down, they're going up. Is this serious to even bother with, or really put your time into it, or my time into it? I don't think serious can be, I don't even think that the word serious is strong enough for the statement behind mental illness and an addiction. I don't think there's a word out there strong enough to really describe what mental illness does to a person, to a family, or what it does to a person or a family with an addiction. There's no words. There's no words. Because the damage is unspeakable of what it does. That's how real it is. That's how real it is. And unfortunately, some of us can't cope with it. And the damage just runs through that individual or that family so fast, just like fire. And it just really messes them up. Some of them live long enough to tell their story. Some don't. And unfortunately, by the second, we're dealing with stories that are not going to be able to be told. They're not going to ever be able to be told. Whether it's a mental illness or an addiction, the stories were cut short. And it's heartbreaking. And it's because, this information is not out there enough. Not enough people care. Not enough people are putting time into it. And why? I really don't have that answer. All I can say is what I think, what I've heard other people say, Some people just feel as though that it never hit home for them, so why should they care? Maybe that's real, maybe that's the fact, maybe it's not. I can only talk for what I know, what I feel, and what I deal with on a daily basis. And basically everyone that I deal with support mental illness and addiction. They know it's real. Some of them have never even been touched by mental illness or an addiction, but they know the damage that it can happen to others, and they support it, and they stand by it. Whether they have ever dealt with it or not. They know it's real, and they want to help. They're good people. And then you have people that it hit home for them, even though it hit home for them, they're taking care of someone that's dealing with this mental illness or an addiction, or it's themselves, but they're in shame. They're embarrassed about it, so they hide about it. And they continue to be in silence. Even though they're getting help, they're in recovery, or they're getting help for mental illness, they don't want to talk about it with other people because to them they're still ashamed, they're still embarrassed about it. If it's a caregiver and their child is going through it, they're just so upset because this is going on in their life and they don't want anybody to know about it. It's sad that they feel like that because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's sad that they haven't really been able to grow mentally and really get strong mentally to say, hey, I don't care, who the hell knows? I'm not ashamed and I'm not embarrassed about it. And hopefully they'll get there someday, but we do have a lot of parents or a lot of individuals still that are in the dark about it because they don't want nobody to know. So we just hope and pray that they, continue on the good path and they finally open up and don't care what the world thinks about them regardless of, what's going on in their life. Because we're not perfect. And mental illness and addiction is real, and it's nothing to be ashamed about, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It happens to the best of us, believe it or not. Besides what people might say and people might not say, it happens to the best of us. And if you don't believe that statement, look it up in Google. And I bet you that the biggest person that you might think that had the biggest dollars out here has been hit with it, or they're dealing with it right now themselves. It hits the best of us. So there's nothing to be ashamed about or embarrassed. That's just how I feel. And that's why I stand behind this 200%. I stand behind individuals that are struggling with mental illness, and I'll continue to, stand behind anyone that's dealing with an addiction. People ask me every day, why did you, out of all the businesses that you have, why did you decide to open up this? Like, don't you think this is just going to take too much of your time? Like, and I'll look at them in their face and say, nope. I started this business because I wanted to start this business. No one asked me to do it. No one talked to me about it. This is something that I want to make a change. I want to change people's lives on this situation. Because I know what it does to a family. I know what it does to an individual. It's real. And the damage is fierce. And I'm hoping that I'm able to help someone when that damage is trying to really tear them down. And be there to support that person or support that family, with my services or just with my support. Because I know it's real. And no, it's not a waste of time to me. I don't know about other people, but to me it's not. I got all the time in the world. So why do something else when I can do this that I enjoy and this is what I love? This is what I want to do. So, if you're out there and you're feeling the same way that I am, if you're supporting this and you feel as though, this is something that you would like to put your time into, you like to volunteer, please reach out to me. If there's new things that I can share on my podcast or just share individual. Because everything that I share, I don't just share it here on my podcast. podcast. I talk to people every day, share it in my community. I share it with my clients, online. I have people from the other side of the country that I talk to, all hours of the day. Most of the people in my community are sleeping when I'm awake talking to somebody. So please, send it over to me. Let me share it with somebody else. If it helped you, let me share it with somebody else and maybe you can benefit from it too. That's what it's all about. It's all about helping others. And, if you're a licensed therapist, if you're a licensed counselor, or you just want to be an advocate, you just want to help me out, reach out to me. Let's make this movement stronger. Let's get this information now. Let's get these services out. Let's help these individuals that really need our help. It only takes someone caring to make a change. That's it. Someone really can put their time into this. That's all it takes. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. Because if you know and you're familiar with my organization, you'll know that my tools and resources and my professional services are accessible worldwide. I don't care where you're at in the world. If you reach out to me, you need help, you're going to get it. And if I can't help you with my team, I'm going to find someone that can help you with their team, or maybe find someone, just an individual, private person that you need for whatever is going on in your world, wherever you at in your journey. I'm going to find that person for you. I'm going to find that organization for you. It doesn't have to be my team. I just want to make sure that I meet you where you're at in your journey and get you the help that you need. That's all it's about. Every time I'm showing up, it's for you. My podcast is talking to you. My organization was open and was established for you. Nothing else. So please, if you haven't been on my website, please get on it. It's www.youarenotalone.online. We have tools and resources on there. We have 24/7 chat box monitored by a human being. We have a phone support line 24/7. We have an email 24/7. Get on there. Use what we have out there. Get benefit from it. You can. Just do it. You want to just download one of our ebooks. Go ahead and do it. Or maybe it's not for you. It's for someone else. Pass it along. We're on every major platform that you can think of. Google me if you have to. And just share this information with someone else if it's not for you. But just keep this information moving. Let's make sure that someone that really needs it gets a hold of it. Because we never know who really needs it. This is the problem with this situation. It's invisible. It's invisible. So we really, really just have to just push this stuff out as much as we can. So hopefully somebody will read it or hear it and they'll use it. They might not tell us that they had this going on in their life. They might not tell you. But at least they got a hold of it and they're going to take care of it at their time, at their term. And that's all that matters. That they've seen it or they heard it and now they're going to help themselves. And that's what we want. Or it's going to open them up to go ahead and get help somewhere else. But at least it opened them up to do it. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has been supporting me on this. I really, really mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Because, I really can't do this without my team. I mean, everyone that's supporting me. I couldn't really be able to do this as broad as I'm doing it. I could do it maybe just in my community, but I don't just want to do just my community by myself. I want to be able to hit this worldwide always and just broader and more and more. Right now we are worldwide because of my team, because of my supporters, people that are really standing by me, helping me with this. And I just want to say thank you because I couldn't have done it without you. You really are a big part of this, and you always will be. So don't ever think because you're across the world, or maybe I don't get to talk to you that often, or maybe you don't get to talk to anyone on my team that often, but you are affiliated with us, you're helping, you're supporting. I want you to know that you're not invisible to us, and I want to say thank you. I really am appreciative of you. Couldn't have done without you. with that being said, I just want to, close off with my statement. And just hope that someone listening to me really takes advantage of the things that I'm offering. We really are here to help you. We really are. And I know a lot of people are just so judgmental and they're so doubtful of people really wanting to help them. Like, how could that be real? How could they just be giving everything away for free? Like, really? Like, that can't be real. And, for anyone that's judgmental, anyone that has negative feedback, anyone that's putting doubt in somebody else's mind or your own mind about my organization, about my free tools, my free professional services, I only have one thing to say to you. Google me. Google don't lie. And I'm sure everyone in the world knows how to do that. Do your homework. Do your homework on me. Because there's nothing to hide. And you will see that I've always stand by everything I say. Every business that I have out there, I stand by it. Every word and every statement that I say is concrete. There's no flaws that you'll ever find about myself or about any of my organizations. Because, I'm real, I'm legit, I'm licensed. And everyone that's behind me is licensed. All my businesses are licensed and legit. I don't need to sit here and offer anything for free or start an organization and say this is for free but not stand by it. I've been blessed to be able to have opened this organization and be able to provide these services for free. When I started this, I didn't have no help from no one. No grants, no donations, nothing. Everything has been served out from me. So why should I sit here and lie about anything? I asked no one for nothing. No one gave me nothing. And that's why I said, Google me if you have any doubts. Google me if you think I'm a fraud or people are putting, judgment into your mind about our organization. Or you just feel, sometimes new things are kind of shaky for people, and I get it. Because I do my research on a lot of people too before I deal with them. So I get it. But all I say is, don't lose a chance with an organization, with a community, with a team, with a family that's going to stand by you always. And we're going to get you the help that you need. Please, if you need that help, but you're on shaky ground because you don't, you want to make sure everything is real, Google me, do your research, and after you do all that and you feel good and you got all the information that you needed, get on my website and reach out to us. We can start helping you. And you can get the, healing that you need in a healthy way. You can get the recovery in a healthy way. And if we can't do it, like I said, and it's just something else that we don't have because we don't have a facility, for anyone that needs help with recovery with an addiction. We don't have a detox center, not yet. We don't have a facility where you can be for 6 months or whatever to get you back what you need to do. The only thing we can do is get you counseling, and we can get you an advocate to get that process started for you. But we will make it happen. Eventually, hopefully soon, we will be having our own facility, not just in our community, but we're hoping to have a facility worldwide so that we'll know for sure we can just get someone in and out without them having to wait a couple of days. But for right now, all we can do, if you do need some kind of detox or a facility that you want to go to for a couple of months, all we can do right now for you is get you an advocate and a counselor to get the plan put together for you, find the places for you, and get you on that road of recovery. With that being said, I just want to say it's okay to not be okay. What's not okay, and I mean that for anyone, what's not okay is to struggle in the dark, in silence, alone, ever. Until next time, please take care of yourself and your loved ones.